Angela Rayner has developed a reputation for struggling to keep track of her own statements, often contradicting herself and stumbling over past remarks. Time and time again, she finds herself in difficult situations, unable to provide a clear or consistent response, and once again she's been caught out. In today's video, we'll be reacting to a revealing clip from her live appearance on Sky News where she was pressed on the issue of housing, specifically regarding the housing of migrants. Under tough questioning, Rayner appeared to trip over her own words, struggling to reconcile her previous statements with her current stance. Unsurprisingly, she was swiftly called out on it. We'll be watching the footage, breaking it down, and discussing exactly where she went wrong. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more updates on the stories that matter. Now, let's get into it. Watch for yourself.
Another element of this. On the present densities, you're going to add 3.4 million, or homes for 3.4 million people with your 1.5 million houses. On your own figures, we're also going to add to our population 2.5 million people over this same period. Are you content that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's not the truth, and that's not the case.
That's what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality, because
where the 2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel Reeves' budget figures going to turn up? Where are they going to live?
Well, there's plenty of housing in the UK, but the houses, especially social
hang on. You can't, on the one hand, say we've got to build this 1.5 million houses, and then say there's plenty of housing already.
There is plenty of housing, Trevor, already, but there's not enough for the people that desperately need it. So the homes, especially under our affordable homes programme, which is social and affordable housing, they will be there for people who desperately need them, local people. We've already outlined how we're going to support veterans and people who are fleeing domestic violence.
Okay.
Councils need homes for people that are on the waiting list. I've already announced changes to the right to buy, making sure they have
this doesn't quite make sense.
So that we can deliver the houses they desperately need.
Deputy Prime Minister, it doesn't quite make sense. You start the interview by telling me that there's a housing crisis. When I remind you that you have said yourselves as a government, we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Some of them, by the way, people are going to build the houses. Suddenly, there's a lot of housing. Where are these people going to go?
Well, Trevor, first of all, when you say about building as well, the previous government did use migrant labour far too much instead of actually building skills here in the UK. I've announced £140 million for new construction hubs so that we can train people here to deliver those housing. So I don't accept that we're going to bring migrants in for that. We've always said that actually we need to skill our own people up. But equally, we need to build the homes that people need. Nobody's had a focus on social housing for a generation, and I'm going to build those homes because far too many people at the moment are waiting on council housing lists, and I've got to fix that.
I really wish we had more time.
Streamline planning. We just can't carry on like this. You know, we're not getting the development we need. We're not getting the houses we need. We've got 8 times average income for first-time buyers. People are priced out of getting a home, and I'm determined to change it. And Trevor, I've been underestimated quite a lot in my life, and I wouldn't allow the Prime Minister to put that target up there if I didn't think I could meet it. And I'm determined to do it because having a home is not just about a home, it's about security, it's about a job, it's about raising a family, and far too many people now can't do that.
There is never going to be any underestimation of Angela Rayner in this studio. So let's just start from this point. If we are talking in 4 years' time, can you guarantee you're going to be able to say, Trevor, I've done it?
I'm determined to make sure by the end of this Parliament that I meet that target. I hate failure, Trevor, and that target is my target, so I've got to deliver it. But it does mean that we're going to have to make real changes to the planning system. We've already put £5 billion next year into additional funding into housing, £500 million into affordable homes. There has to be lots of different parts of the system that works, and that includes, and I want to reassure people listening to this, infrastructure.
Well, I want to come to all that. Let's come to all that. And let's just deal with this lovely word that you've just used, streamlining.
Yes.
I see the Prime Minister this morning is saying that local councils will get more powers, but they will also have more responsibilities. And they are basically not to stand in the way. Does that streamlining mean that local councils are going to be more powerful as long as they do what you tell them?
Well, kind of in a way, yes. But it'll be part of a consultation with them. So, first of all, our national planning...
you're not going to consult... If you're telling them today, it's perfectly reasonable. You're the boss. If you're telling them today, we're consulting you, but at the end of the day, you're going to do what you tell you, what we tell you. That's a clear message from Angela Rayner.
So let me say it simply. I consulted on the National Planning Policy Framework from July when we were elected. Next week, I will be outlining that structure. So it'll be clarity from the centre. Mandatory targets for local councils mean they have to have a local plan, and that will be developed with local people. So therefore, the planning nationally with the local plan means that we all know what the strategy is, we all know where the development is going to be. There is no need then for things to be constantly clogged up in a system that is causing chaos. So people know where we're going and they know the destination, they've inputted into that process, and then we're going to deliver the homes we need.
Look, I get the rhetoric, but in the end, what happens when they say, OK, Angela, we love it, we love the plan, but you know what? We cannot build this number of houses in this place because we won't have it.
Be taken into account, but we can't have a situation where we have a desperate housing crisis and we can't resolve things like nutrient neutrality, which we believe we can, and making sure that we can make sure that nature's protected, but we can't have a situation where we can't build those houses. So that there's mitigations you can make, but I cannot accept the situation as it stands currently. So
seriously, some of these regulations are going to go, as far as you're concerned. They've got to go.
They will be clarity to ensure that we don't see buildings stalled for years and years. And you will see that next week. We are being very punchy about it because we will build the homes that we desperately need.
You say you're being punchy, but this is not very Angela Rayner. Why can't you just say, look, guys, the newts, the black-legged kittiwakes, the bats, you're going to have to take second place to getting houses for people.
Well, I believe we can offset, look after them, but at the same time not stop building.
All right.
Because we can't have a situation where a newt's more protected than people who desperately need housing. What we need is a process which says protect the nature and wildlife, but not at the expense of us building the houses we need. We could do both.
What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down in the comments. In some other news, a lorry driver attempted to smuggle migrants, including 8 young children, into the UK by hiding them inside tyres. Duncan McLaughlin, 64, from Glasgow, transported Vietnamese nationals from France to Belgium in his heavy goods vehicle, HGV, charging each passenger £15,000 for the journey. The operation was disrupted near Bruges in 2020 when Belgian police and the UK's National Crime Agency, NCA, intercepted the lorry, rescuing all 10 migrants. Had the vehicle not been stopped, the group would have been loaded onto a ferry bound for Purfleet-on-Thames, England. The interception came less than 5 months after 39 Vietnamese migrants tragically lost their lives in a similar smuggling attempt. McLaughlin was arrested near Bruges, later released on bail, but fled the country. He was convicted in absentia in October 2021 and sentenced to 37 months in prison, along with an €88,000 fine. He has since passed away. McLaughlin was recruited by Ian Nolan, 53, and Daniel Loughran, 36, who coordinated the smuggling operation from England and Northern Ireland. Both were found guilty of conspiracy to assist unlawful immigration after a 5-week trial at Maidstone Crown Court and are set to be sentenced on April 16. Nolan, from Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire, instructed McLaughlin to collect the HGV and transport the migrants from a meeting point in Rue de Force, France. McLaughlin and Nolan remained in contact throughout the journey, which ended in Belgium when authorities intercepted the lorry in Gambruga on March 5, 2020. Loughran arranged for another lorry to meet the migrants in Kent the following day. He worked with gang member Wayne Sherlock, 44, who was sentenced to 4 years in prison in a separate trial in June 2020. NCA branch commander David Cunningham condemned the smuggling gang's actions, emphasizing their disregard for human life. Despite the tragedy in Purfleet in 2019, this gang exploited these Vietnamese nationals, many of them children, putting them at serious risk. They were charged thousands of pounds and hidden in horrific conditions. These smugglers treat migrants as mere cargo, Cunningham said. He reaffirmed the NCA's commitment to tackling organised immigration crime and bringing those responsible to justice through international collaboration. So, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments. That brings us to the end of today's video. Hit the like and subscribe button for more British content. Oh, and don't forget to get your t-shirts at britishstand.com. Link is in the description.